And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Maher is out here wrecking woke arguments like it's his full-time job, and his latest target, none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Now, let's be real, the actress kind of had it coming given her ever-growing portfolio of cringe statements since 2022. Maher didn't just criticize her, he verbally disassembled her, piece by piece, in a takedown so brutal it left Whoopi scrambling for cover like a cartoon character dodging anvils. So, what exactly did Goldberg say this time to earn Maher's unfiltered wrath? And how did his clapback managed to leave the woke mob devastated? Don't worry, we've got all the juicy details right here. Buckle up, folks. This isn't just a bumpy ride. It's a roller coaster with no seatbelt.
Got to get past this endless, unforgiving, zero-tolerance mindset bent on punishing and disappearing anyone caught saying the wrong thing. The right response to speech you don't like is more speech.
Whoopi Goldberg has poked the bear, and now she's dealing with the claws of brutal truth. And oh, it's not pretty. Remember our last video where Bill Maher shredded Sunny Hostin for trying to pull a fast one by putting words in his mouth? Well, turns out the View crew isn't taking the L quietly. This time it's Whoopi Goldberg stepping up, apparently on a revenge mission to deliver their pound of flesh. Looks like Sunny couldn't handle the heat Maher brought, so she called in the cavalry, Whoopi Goldberg herself. And boy, did she come in hot, ready to rumble like a contestant in a reality show nobody asked for.
Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
Classic Whoopi Goldberg, flipping through the woke playbook like it's her Bible. When your argument's sinking faster than the Titanic, whip up a straw man and go on the attack. Bill Maher was making a clear point about black Americans wanting better jobs, a stronger economy, and responsible policing. Simple enough, right? But here comes Whoopi rambling about voting for a former prosecutor with plans for the working class. Does that connect? Nope. Do you see the logic? Of course not, because there isn't any. It's like she's playing darts blindfolded, hoping something sticks. Spoiler alert, it doesn't, and Bill Maher didn't let it slip.
Down statues of Lincoln and get rid of the police. Just, no. It's not that I've gotten old, it's that your ideas are stupid.
Bill Maher didn't mince any words there. He pointed out that Whoopi's ideas are probably nonsensical, which is typical of The View. The View has become the political talk show equivalent of a train wreck. Painful to watch, yet somehow impossible to look away from. Sure, it's known for its controversial and, let's face it, questionable takes on just about everything. But Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg managed to elevate the chaos to new heights with their utterly outrageous commentary. Remember that time Charlemagne the God braved the set as a guest? You could practically see him wondering if he'd stumbled into some sort of alternate reality.
Is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time and, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right.
Here's the backstory. President Joe Biden, the self-proclaimed champion of no one being above the law, just pardoned his son Hunter Biden after, surprise, surprise, he was found guilty of corruption and other related offenses. Talk about family values, right? This move has predictably set off a firestorm of criticism. After all, how do you square the whole no one is above the law shtick when your son gets a free pass? It's almost like saying justice is blind, unless you're a Biden. Hunter's guilt was as obvious as a toddler caught with cookie crumbs on his face, yet somehow accountability just didn't make it onto the family calendar. And that was Charlemagne's point. If the woke mob claimed no one was above the law, then they should live by their own standards. Simple, right? Well, Whoopi thought otherwise.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed
You
his...
really think he just changed change his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all
No,
of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
And there you have it, another eye-roll inducing gem from the queen of cringe herself, Whoopi Goldberg. This time, Whoopi actually claimed that President Biden didn't lie when he said no one was above the law. Really, Whoopi? Because there's a mountain of evidence, video, audio, and probably even cave paintings, proving he said exactly that.
Nation was founded on the principle that there are no kings in America. Each of us is equal before the law. No one is above the law.
Watching Whoopi tell a blatant lie is like watching someone confidently argue the sky isn't blue while standing under a cloudless sky. At this point, Whoopi's mental gymnastics could qualify her for the Olympics, but even then, she'd probably trip over her own logic. You could even see the shock on Charlemagne's face at Whoopi's statements. But she didn't stop there. She claimed it is possible Biden changed his mind because he was sick and tired of watching everybody get over him. Charlemagne was stunned into silence.
So I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that
you're
go out.
mis-
They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen.
They don't have to do.
You see, the problem with the woke mob is they only call out wrongdoing when the offender isn't part of their exclusive little club. But when the guilty party is one of their own, suddenly the outrage turns into a whispered defense or a convenient case of selective amnesia. Of course, Whoopi and her ilk got away with their shenanigans because it was Charlemagne on the show. But when Bill Maher got wind of their antics, he said, "Hold my beer," and he delivered one of the finest verbal eviscerations we've heard in a while.
You love to speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit.
Maher couldn't have said it better. The woke mob loves to parade themselves as the ultimate truth tellers and moral compasses, but their double standards were laid bare for the world to see this time. Hunter Biden was guilty, plain and simple, but because his dad happens to sit in the Oval Office, he gets to waltz away without so much as a slap on the wrist. If this were anyone else, the mob would be calling for their head on a silver platter, but when it's one of their own, suddenly justice takes a back seat to favoritism. It's hypocrisy at its finest, and Maher was right to call it out for what it truly is, a complete farce. The real question is, how much longer will Americans put up with this two-faced behavior? It's not just about Hunter. It's about a system that bends over backward for the powerful while throwing the book at everyone else. Maher's takedown wasn't just timely, it was a wake-up call for anyone still clinging to the illusion of fairness. But here's where it all gets interesting. Maher opined that the woke mob often got help from mainstream media.
Appropriate to bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course, you don't
but
follow
I mean,
this.
saying
You
know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
The media bent over backward to downplay the Hunter Biden scandal, working overtime to shield President Biden and derail Trump's re-election bid. Key outlets dismissed the story as Russian disinformation, despite mounting evidence while censoring dissenting voices. Whoopi Goldberg eagerly joined the chorus, scoffing at the legitimacy of the allegations on The View, but Maher wasn't having it. He called her out for playing defense instead of seeking truth, dismantling her excuses and exposing the blatant hypocrisy for all to see.
Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America is this. It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied.
R was spot on. The ladies of The View, especially Whoopi Goldberg, aren't just woke. They're like a pack of mean sharks, circling and ready to tear apart anyone who doesn't align with their ideology. Their brand of debate isn't about discussion or truth. It's about silencing dissent and enforcing their worldview with snarls and snark. Whoopi, in particular, has perfected the art of dismissing opposing voices with a wave of her hand, as if differing opinions are beneath her. Maher, however, wasn't afraid to call them out, exposing their tactics for what they are, bullying disguised as activism. It's no wonder he's become a thorn in their side, consistently shining a spotlight on their hypocrisy. For viewers tired of one-sided narratives, Maher's takedowns feel like a breath of fresh air in a room full of stale arguments.
Democrats run for office as if the voters don't live here, as if they don't go to the grocery store and Starbucks and the office but they do. But a poll last year asked, if America is the greatest country in the world, more blacks and Hispanic Americans agreed with that than the white progressives. It asked if racism is built into our society. White progressives agreed with that at higher levels than black and Hispanic people. It asked if government should increase border security. Same result. Hispanic Americans are less okay with illegal immigration than whitey. And black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them. Black people, they're just like us.
Maher argues that the woke mob needs to stop clutching their pearls over Trump's win and start facing reality. He didn't steal it, cheat for it, or conjure it out of thin air. He won it fair and square because millions of Americans liked what he was selling, no matter how much it made the progressive left gag. Instead of blaming Russia, racism, or whatever scapegoat is trending on Twitter this week, maybe it's time to accept that democracy means sometimes the other team scores. It's not a glitch. It's the system working as intended. The sooner they stop playing the victim and start playing strategists, the better shot they'll have in 2028 or even 2030.
Coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him, they certainly are those, and then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense.
Bill Maher nails it again. Not everyone who voted for Trump is hosting MAGA rallies in their backyard or swearing fealty to golden statues. A lot of them held their noses and cast their votes because they were sick of the Democrats' sanctimonious sermons and the woke mob's increasingly anti-common sense agenda. Let's be real. When you're cheering for biological men to dominate women's sports or holding rallies that look suspiciously sympathetic to groups like Hamas, you're going to lose a chunk of the electorate. People didn't vote for Trump because they loved his tweets or his tanning bed glow. They did it because the alternative seemed like a lecture from a self-righteous vegan at a BBQ. If the left wants to win, maybe it's time to stop alienating the middle by embracing every fringe idea in the activist playbook and start focusing on what actually makes sense to the average American.
Well, stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma. Sorry. No. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Up, it's comedy gold. Bill Maher didn't just deliver the final nail in Whoopi Goldberg's coffin. He practically built the whole thing while laughing at the absurdity of it all. Whoopi, the self-appointed high priestess of the woke mob, decided to take a swing at Maher for daring to think for himself. Big mistake. Maher's response, vintage Bill. Sharp, unapologetic, and devastatingly funny. He called out the irony of a co-host of The View, a show that markets itself as a forum for diverse opinions, attacking him for having a view she didn't like. It's a little rich, isn't it? A group of people who cry tolerance at every turn seem to think the word means tolerating only their opinions. Maher, as usual, wasn't having it. He laid bare the hypocrisy of the woke echo chamber that Whoopi and her crew inhabit, where critical thinking is replaced by tribal loyalty and dissent is treated like heresy. Watching Maher dismantle their flimsy arguments was like watching Picasso paint, only with sarcasm and logic as his brushstrokes. And with this, we draw the curtains on today's episode. If you liked it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like these. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.